Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and like. Our series begins at Sky High School with our heroine, Yoon, the worst student in the entire school. No competition, dead last. She feels she needs to get her act together and tells her, "Forget studying. This isn't my path. I need to secure my future. I'll learn something useful. I'll learn boxing." She gathers a group of failures like herself and convinces the principal to open a boxing club for them, naming it King. They start training there every day, and everything is going great. Unfortunately, a student from the honors class shows up and starts messing with them, cutting the electricity because of the noise they make. But Yoon doesn't like that, so she grabs her crew and goes to beat them up and force them to turn the power back on. She thinks they're weak kids who only care about studying and know nothing about fighting. But the shock is that their leader, Kim, humiliates her and tells her, "There's no electricity coming back. Go study something useful. Exams are coming." She tells him, "What's it to you? Did someone complain to you about my grades? I like my grades and my education. I left them to you, so have some decency and turn the power back on before I hit you. And honestly, I don't like hitting people weaker than me." He replies, "Weaker than me? Then show me what you've got. Nothing's coming back." She says, "So that's your final word?" He says, "Yes, do whatever you want." She shouts, "Attack, guys!" And the fight starts. At that moment, the vice principal passes by, sees them, and deducts 10 points from Yoon and her friends, threatening to shut down their club. Of course, our heroine gets angry and feels wronged, so she decides she must mess up the honors class. They won't stay quiet either, and they vandalize the King Club Hall. Her friend gets scared another fight will start, so she goes to Kim and says, "Calm down, let's talk this out." But he keeps arguing with her, and she gets mad and is about to hit him when he grabs her. Just then, a strange person passes by and takes a photo of them in a bad position and sends it to Teacher Tae, who tries to delete it before anyone sees it. But he's too late because the pig vice principal sees it and immediately goes to the principal. The principal summons Kim and scolds him, saying, "What's this? These days, a student from the honors class does something like this? You're wrong. Don't let it happen again." Then she calls our heroine and scolds her, "Leave him alone and let him focus on his studies. Isn't it enough that you're a failure?" When our heroine tries to explain that the situation is wrong and there's nothing between them, the principal doesn't give her a chance, so she gives up and goes to Kim, asking him to tell the principal the truth, that nothing happened between them. But he refuses and says he'll only do it on one condition. She shuts down her boxing club. She refuses. He says, "That's all I've got. If you don't like it, too bad." She then goes to the dorm to her friend Sona, who, by the way, is in the honors class, and tells her, "Did you see the picture that spread about me? I don't know who took it." Sona says, "It must be some pig or someone rotten inside." She replies, "Seriously, may God forgive them, but I won't. If I see them, I'll hit them with my shoe." Suddenly, she gets a message from her friends saying there's a huge problem at the club. When she goes to see what's happening, she finds the principal removing all their equipment and saying, "That's it. I've decided to shut it down forever. Everyone go home and study. Exams are coming." Of course, our heroine gets angry and feels guilty, thinking the club was shut down because of the leaked photo. She stays depressed for a long time until she suddenly gets an idea to write posts and organize protests to bring the club back. Her friend Dong helps her, and the next day they start putting posters all over the school. Yoon becomes famous because of these posters, to the point the issue reaches the Ministry of Education. An inspector comes to investigate and talks to the principal, trying to convince her to reopen the club. Our heroine is happy and says, finally they have no choice but to bring the club back. But suddenly, Teacher Tae collects all the students' phones. They're confused and ask why, and he says it's all because of Yoon, because they made her trend. Then she understands that the pig principal manipulated the inspector and made him believe she shut the club down for their own good. She loses hope that the club will ever reopen. On top of that, her classmates start bullying her because their phones were taken away. She can't stand being more isolated than this, so she goes to Ty and begs him, "Please return my classmates' phones. It's not their fault. I'm the one who messed up." He says, "I have nothing to do with it. The phones are with the principal," and leaves. She takes advantage of the moment and grabs his phone. When she opens it, she's shocked to find the leaked photo of her and Kim, and she realizes who sent it, her dear friend Sona, the same one who said it must have been some pig. Turns out she was talking about herself. Of course, our heroine can't believe it and says, "No, she's my only friend. She'd never do that to me." She goes to confront her and asks, "Did you do this? We're supposed to be friends." She expects Sona to apologize and feel guilty, but instead, Sona mocks her and says, "Friends? Don't you know there's a difference between us? You're a failure. All the teachers hate you and you're an outcast, but I'm the top student in the school." After humiliating and crushing her pride, she walks away. Our heroine feels devastated and thinks she never should have come to this school, so she decides to leave it. When her mother comes home early and asks what happened at school, She breaks down crying and says she doesn't want to study anymore, then locks herself in her room. Suddenly, Dong calls her. When she comes out to see what he wants, he says, "I've got good news for you." After hearing it, she rushes to school, only to find that the honor students have taken over her club. She storms in and scolds them, saying, "So you kill the victim and walk in their funeral too? I've never seen shamelessness like yours. Anyway, I want you to know that from now on, I'll become an honor student and join your class, whether you like it or not. I know it's hard, but I can do it." But when the vice principal hears this, he grabs her by the hair and says, "That class is only for top students. A failure like you can't join them," and warns her not to come near him again. At that moment, her mother arrives and sees how her daughter is being treated. She gets angry and says, "I swear I'll expose you. I'll let everyone know what this school is really like. Do you think it's a joke? I'll destroy you. Come on, my daughter. I'll take you to the best school in Korea." But our heroine says, "No, let me stay here." Her mother is surprised and asks why. She says, "I'll stay until I bring the boxing club back for my friends." Her mother agrees on the condition that she doesn't let anyone bully her again, and if anyone even tries, she should tell her. After that, our heroine comes up with a plan to enter the honors class. She learns she must collect lots of points to be allowed in, so she starts cleaning the school and helping classmates. Every time the vice principal tries to stop her, she does what she wants anyway, until he gets tired of her and goes to the principal saying, "Please get rid of her and reopen her club." The principal gets angry and says, "No way I'll listen to a child and let her beat me. I said no club, so no club." Then when our heroine goes to her room, Sona and her friends show up and start bullying her. She gets angry and feels weak, but then her friends arrive and help her, and they get revenge on Sona and her group. They do their homework together, then go to the playground, laughing and joking about what they did to Sona and how they finally got revenge on her. When they return to school, the principal gathers them with the honors class and tells them that in 2 months there will be a cheerleading competition, and not just any competition, but one at the district level. She wants them to enter and win, so they must cooperate and form a strong team. But our heroine refuses and says she'll never work with people like them. Juno snaps back, "People like us? Why don't you look at yourself first?" A fight almost breaks out, but the principal stops them and makes her an attractive offer. If she agrees to cooperate, she's willing to reopen her club. Our heroine hesitates. Then the class president, Kim, tells them that if they agree, they'll basically just be backups for Sona. Our heroine gets angry and says, "No way! I'm not becoming anyone's servant. I'm not joining the competition at all." Kim also refuses and says, "Fine, do what you want. I'm not participating either," then leaves and texts June to bring him lunch. When June is late, Kim goes to check on him and finds him collapsed on the ground, with Dong beside him, crying, not knowing what to do. Kim rushes him to the hospital, and he's treated in time. Our heroine also arrives at the hospital to get her leg checked, and coincidentally sees Kim there. Kim looks like he's about to bring up the fact that she saw them, but she says, "Shame on you. Am I some kind of temptation?" When they return to school, Kim learns that the principal knows everything and that June tried to harm himself. She says they must tell his parents, but Kim begs her not to and finally says, "Fine, I'll do whatever you want. Just tell me what you want." She replies, "I want you and your class to join the competition, and your honors class must let the boxing club kids participate too. Figure out how to do it, or I'll tell June's father." On her way to her room, our heroine finds Sona in the cheer room with 2 of her friends and realizes they've already decided to join, meaning she's now the only one still refusing, but she doesn't care and sticks to her decision. Suddenly, our hero appears and asks her to cheer with him, but she refuses. He doesn't give up easily and keeps chasing her everywhere, saying, "Isn't this enough? Your friends are suffering because of you. Their grades are bad, and the principal might kick them out since the one thing they were good at, they're not allowed to do anymore." She yells back, "What do you want me to do? Step on my pride and cheer for someone who tried to ruin my future?" He feels bad and backs off. Suddenly, they realize they're late and the school gates are about to close. They run, but it's too late. Our heroine calls her friends to help her sneak in, but no one answers, so our hero helps her instead and takes her to his room. There, he takes the opportunity to apologize for pressuring her to join the competition, and she decides to stop being stubborn and join them for her friends' sake so their futures won't be ruined. She and her group go to the principal and submit the form, saying they agree. The principal is happy and gathers everyone in one class. Then Coach Yo-Yo arrives, who will train them for the next 2 months. She introduces herself and her plan and says they must win the competition no matter what. Everything seems fine, and the principal already has a plan they'll follow. After that, Sona goes to check her grades grades and finds she's ranked second again for the millionth time. And as usual, Kim is first. She gets angry because she knows if her mother finds out, she'll start fighting with her. She feels pressured and thinks about drinking again, like she's used to. Dear viewer, nothing new here, so if you want her to quit, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll make her stop right now. Just then, Dong passes by, and she pretends it's not hers, but he doesn't believe her and tells Kim. Kim uses the chance to threaten her, saying, "Bottom line, I know you drink, so if you try to mess with me again, you know what I'll do, and your mother isn't a stranger to me. By the way, Yoon is off limits from now on." Our heroine hears this but doesn't care. When Kim leaves, he plays around with Sona and tells the teacher he lost his wallet and asks him to search the bags to find it. Sona panics, afraid the teacher will see the bottle in her bag. She ends up asking our heroine for help, and our heroine tells the teacher, "The wallet is right here." He's surprised she's protecting her after everything she did to her. She says, "Because I don't like playing dirty." Instead of thanking her, Sona hits her and says, "I'm sure you're the one who set Kim on me." Our well-mannered heroine is 1,000 times better than her and doesn't respond. At that moment, Coach Yo-Yo arrives and tells them it's training time. She gathers everyone on the field, and they train until they literally collapse on the ground from exhaustion. The honors students complain that Yo-Yo is exhausting them, and they can't focus on studying. And unfortunately, their parents come to school to complain too. She tells them, "Why are you complaining to me? Go argue with the principal. She's the one who set the training schedule." The news reaches the Ministry of Education, which is basically useless in the drama, like the people who don't like or subscribe to the channel. So we need a solution here. This time, the principal calms them down and says, Okay, they'll like and subscribe, just relax." Then she goes to talk to Yo-Yo, who takes advantage of the situation when she learns the school might be shut down and the kids' futures ruined. She gives the principal an ultimatum: "I'll stay on my terms. No one tells me what to do, and I train these kids my way, or I leave and let this whole place collapse on your heads." The principal has no choice but to agree and let her train the students however she wants. So the first thing Yo-Yo does is force them to get to know each other. First thing, you have to become friends. But they don't care much about that and leave the class. When our heroine goes out for a walk, a glass bottle suddenly almost falls on her head, but our hero saves her at the last second and gets hit instead. She rushes him to the hospital, and they both get treated. She insists on paying since he saved her. Suddenly, there's a boxing competition, and she convinces him to join her. He starts boxing, and thanks to her skills, they win the prize. Because of that day, they grow closer and become friends, and our heroine realizes he's kind and that she misjudged him. The next day, they train again, and Coach Yo-Yo makes them get to know each other by doing 50 push-ups. They start learning more about each other, what they like and hate. When it's our hero's turn, they ask him if he likes anyone. He laughs and says there's a girl here he likes and wants to date, but she's way out of his league and he can't reach her. Our heroine thinks he's talking about her and feels embarrassed. Then Kim goes to the teacher's room and finds a strange video open on the school computer. When he watches it, he realizes Sona reported June, so he messages her and they argue. At that moment, June arrives and asks why they're fighting. She bluntly says, "I was the one who reported you. I told the principal you tried to hurt yourself and used that to pressure Kim into doing what I wanted." June freezes and feels guilty and decides he's going to disappear. When our hero finds out, he searches everywhere but can't find him. Suddenly, he hears a fight coming from the principal's office. When he goes there, he finds June arguing with her, saying, "How could you allow yourself to use my friend like that?" Our hero tries to calm him down and take him to train, but June refuses, and they start fighting there. Coach Yo-Yo decides to punish them and makes them train in the rain with no mercy, saying, "You think there's no authority here? I'm the authority." But in the end, she feels sorry for them because she's kind-hearted, so she takes them to her house for dinner at her expense. She leaves for 10 minutes to buy something and comes back shocked to find them unconscious after drinking the lemon juice in her fridge. She yells, "What on earth did you do to yourselves? You'll ruin your futures." She quickly calls someone to take them back to school. On the way, they ask to rest for a bit, so she stops the car. She takes advantage of the moment and runs away, and Yo-Yo panics when she realizes she's gone and doesn't know what to do. June searches everywhere for her until he finds her at the last moment before she boards a plane. He tries to convince her to come to her senses and come back with him for the sake of their future. She agrees, but unfortunately, because of all that, they arrive late to school. When they get there, they find the principal standing at the gate. She pretends to distract her so Tay can sneak them inside without anyone noticing. Her plan works, and no one finds out they spent the night outside school. Because of that day, they grow even closer. By chance, our heroine overhears the principal talking about expelling teacher Tay. She panics and thinks she must help him, but Kim gets angry and tells her, "Stay out out of it, mind your own business for once. But she doesn't care and goes to meet Teacher Tae. She learns the principal plans to fire him, so he decides to expose everything she's been doing. I'm not going alone. I'll take the principal down with me. He goes and makes a deal with a journalist to help him. The next day, the journalist comes to school and asks students to give interviews about Teacher Tae, how kind he is, and how he helped them. But the principal threatens anyone who participates that they'll lose all their points and possibly be expelled. Our heroine doesn't care and goes to give the interview. Our hero follows her and tells her not to provoke the principal. She already hates you, and this time, she might really expel you. She gets angry and calls him a coward. Later, she apologizes to the teacher for not being able to help him. He tells her there's no need to apologize, and if she really wants to help, she should study hard and succeed. When our hero returns to his room, he feels upset and guilty over her words, so he goes to apologize. He says, "Honestly, I am a coward. I only care about my grades, and I was wrong to try to stop you. From now on, I'll support you in any decision. You're brave, and I know you'll find a way to help the teacher." His words give her confidence, so she immediately goes to the journalist and says she's ready to do the interview. She then goes to reassure Teacher Tae that she did the interview and everything is fine. But suddenly, he gets a message on his phone, an apology from the journalist, saying he can't publish the students' statements because he received orders not to talk about their school. He gets upset and calls another journalist friend, begging him to try, and tells him he has evidence that the school manipulates grades, making rich students top performers, while other students are unfairly treated. At that moment, Sona passes by and overhears them. She gets scared he'll expose her since she's one of them, so she decides to get rid of him. When he goes to help them with boxing training, she conspires with her friend Young to accuse Teacher Tae of harassing her. When he defends himself, he says he was only trying to grab her because she was about to fall, but no one believes him. Everyone starts humiliating him, and Young's mother comes to school yelling, "Is this how you leave someone like this to teach students? One of them is my daughter. I'm not leaving until he's punished in front of my eyes." Coach Yo-Yo tries to defend him and says she was there during training, saw everything, and knows he's innocent and was only trying to help, but no one believes her either. They decide to investigate and review the cameras to find out who's telling the truth. But before that happens, someone posts an article on social media with Teacher Tae's picture, accusing him of harassment and abuse. Unfortunately, the news spreads throughout the school. Everyone talks badly about him, and they demand that the principal fire him. Our heroine gets angry and wants to defend him, but Kim stops her and says, "We need proof first. You don't have any." She says, "Then we'll find some. We'll know who posted that article, and I won't let them get away with it." So she and Kim go to submit a petition to the Ministry of Education, asking that the teacher not be fired, explaining he's kind and always helps students. They get their classmates to sign it. When the principal finds out, she goes crazy, afraid he might be helped and return to school, so she tries to suppress them. But suddenly, someone from the ministry arrives to investigate the matter personally and summons Young to tell them exactly what happened. When Young sees Tae in front of her, she panics, but she continues lying and says, "Honestly, I'm just a poor girl. He tried to harass me. I said no. I could never stay silent." Tae apologizes to her and says, "It's okay, my girl. It's my fault. I was only trying to help you, and you know I'm kind and never did anything wrong. Anyway, I'll resign on my own." Young feels guilty and realizes things have gone too far, so she decides to confess the truth to her mother. She tells her that the teacher didn't do anything and that she falsely accused him because Sona asked her to. She suggests telling the truth at the next meeting, but her mother gets angry and says, "Don't mention that you lied. Besides, he chose to resign himself. We didn't do anything." At the same time, June finally gathers his courage and asks his father to help Teacher Tae since he works at the Ministry of Education. But his father says, "Help a harasser? Impossible. Go study and work hard. Who told you the petition you sent to the ministry would be approved? I personally rejected it when I found out you were trying to help him, and if I find out you try again, I won't stay silent." He kicks him out of the office. June cries, feeling helpless and unable to help. The day of the competition arrives, and everyone gets ready. Professor Tae comes to see them one last time, so they take advantage of the moment. After the performance ends, they all raise banners asking Tae to return to the school. The rest of their classmates join in, talk to him, and ask him to come back. He is truly moved and thanks them for standing by him and believing in him. At that moment, Young decides to take the opportunity to apologize to him for wrongly accusing him, and he forgives her. Then she reaches the principal before she can speak, and the principal says she will leave without causing trouble. Young stops her and says, "No, I want you and these students so I can punish you." But Kim and the rest of the group arrive and defend them, saying this was an agreement among all of them, and if she wants to punish someone, she must punish the the whole school. Of course, the principal can't do anything and decides to forgive them, and Professor Tay returns as well. They decide to celebrate the happy occasion, but Tay reminds them that exams are close, only 2 days away, so they need to study hard. They all start studying, and the hero also decides to help the heroine improve her grades. He keeps studying with her, and when exam day comes, she answers exactly the way he explained. When the results of the first exams come out, she's shocked to find herself in second place again. As usual, she gets angry and goes to the vice principal, asking why she came second, even though she wrote a good essay. He tries to calm her down. At the same time, while packing his bag in a hurry, he doesn't notice something, and she takes advantage of the moment and finds a strange flash drive he forgot. She takes it. When the vice principal later goes to his office to look for it, he can't find it and panics because it contains all the upcoming exam questions. Then a teacher arrives and says she saw a student named Kim in the office earlier, and he might be the one who took the flash drive. Meanwhile, the real person who took it is holding it, reviewing the exams and copying them. She plans to return it secretly to the office, but she hears classmates talking about the missing flash drive and how they're searching for it. She gets scared she'll be exposed, so she decides to get rid of it by putting it in Kim's bag. When the vice principal searches Kim, he finds it with him. Kim tries to defend himself, saying it's not his, and he doesn't know anything about it, but the vice principal doesn't listen and says he'll report him. The students start looking at Kim with contempt, calling him a cheater and saying all his grades must have been from cheating. They demand the school expel him. The news reaches the Ministry of Education, which forms a committee and sentences him to 130 hours of community service. Kim decides to serve his punishment quietly. The heroine goes to check on him and thanks him because he's the only one who believed her and stood by her. She then goes to the school and decides to discover the truth herself. She heads to the teacher's office to check the cameras and finds John there. Just as they're about to check, they hear the security guard coming, so they quickly run away. A week passes, exams end, and the results come out. Sunny gets first place, and for the first time in her life, her mother is proud of her and rewards her generously. At the same time, the heroine receives a message from the hero. It's a video of them together on the day the flash drive disappeared. When she zooms in, she sees the vice principal behind them, putting the flash drive into the bag. At the same time, he claimed it had disappeared and accused Kim of stealing it. She believes it because this proves Kim's innocence. He couldn't have done it since he was with her at that time. She shows the video to John, and they decide to help Kim. She calls him and tells him they now have proof, and he can return to school. They go straight there and show the video to the principal. Kim defends himself and says he was with the heroine at that time and didn't take anything. He tells her to check the cameras and see who really put it in his bag. Everyone is furious because he reclaimed his rights and silenced them. The principal is forced to investigate properly to find out who really did it. Professor Tay warns the students and asks the real culprit to confess before things get worse, and a disciplinary committee is formed, which would erase their grades. Sunny becomes extremely anxious and doesn't know what to do. The hero also goes to the principal and says it's his right for the exams to be repeated. Sunny gets scared because he would definitely take first place, and she knows her mother would be disappointed. So she decides to destroy the camera recordings, but discovers someone already took a copy and now knows the truth, that she was the one who put the flash drive in Kim's bag. She starts receiving daily threatening messages from the person with the copy, saying that if she doesn't confess, the video will be shown to the whole school and everyone will learn the truth. She becomes nervous, exhausted, and starts doubting everyone around her, especially Dong, but she can't catch him doing anything, so she stops suspecting him and starts watching the heroine instead. When they go to camp, she keeps her eyes on her, wondering if she's the one threatening her. She sees her entering a room and later finds the same threatening message in her bag, so she suspects her and decides to get rid of her. She takes her to the supermarket, leaves her alone, and returns to the camp. When the heroine comes out and can't find her, she panics because it's late and she doesn't know the place or how to get back. She starts crying, thinking she'll never see her friends again, until John appears, calls her, and takes her back to camp. As soon as the hero sees her, he runs to check on her and says he was worried and couldn't breathe without her. He gets angry about what happened to her and goes to confront Sona, saying, "You took revenge on the wrong person. I'm the one who's been sending you the messages all along, and I have the proof. You have one chance to confess all the crimes you committed. If you don't confess today, in front of everyone, that you stole the flash drive, I'll expose the truth and get you expelled. Then let's see who will look at you as a good girl again." When the heroine hears this, she realizes Sona deliberately abandoned her. She shakes her and says, "What did I ever do to you? Isn't it enough that I always forgive you despite everything you've done? You want to destroy my future? If you don't confess today, I really will take revenge and expose everything." When everyone gathers to celebrate, they wait for her to speak, but she stays silent and cowardly repeatedly until the party ends. Then she goes to Kim and says, "Please give me 3 days. I'll confess everything. I know I'm wrong, but I need to tell my mother first what I did." To help her, he tells her, "You have exactly 3 days. If you don't confess everything, don't blame anyone but yourself." When she returns from camp, she goes to confront her mother and confess the truth, but she gets scared as usual. When her mother's secretary notices how nervous she is, she talks to her and asks, "What disaster did you cause this time?" She tells her everything, that she found a flash drive with exam questions by coincidence, cheated, framed Kim, and he was punished instead of her. Now everything has been discovered, and she doesn't know what to do. The secretary tells her, "Don't worry, I'll try to help you, but you need to find that flash drive as soon as possible and get rid of it." So when she returns to school, she immediately searches the hero's room and actually finds the flash drive. At that moment, Professor Tay arrives and sees her, asking what she's doing in the boys' room. He notices the laptop open with the video playing and her holding the flash drive, and he understands everything, that she was the one responsible and framed Kim. He tells her to confess and apologize to Kim for wronging him, then leaves. Out of fear, she leaves the flash drive behind and runs away. Later, Kim's friend comes to the room to rest and finds a strange flash drive. Out of curiosity, he opens it and sees the video. Learning that Sona was the one who stole the flash drive, he goes to tell his friend and opens it on the heroine's laptop. She reconciles in the video and decides to take revenge on Sona. Meanwhile, Sona goes to Professor Tay and tells him she plans to confess everything after the exams, but suddenly, she finds the whole school talking about her, calling her a cheater and saying she stole the flash drive. She's shocked and asks how they found out, until she sees the leaked video, and the heroine's name is written on it. She thinks the heroine did it, so she gets furious, grabs her, and attacks her. The heroine tries to explain that she has nothing to do with it and was just as shocked by the leak, but Sona doesn't believe her, hits her, and threatens to kill her. In her rage, she pushes her down the stairs. At that moment, the hero arrives and saves her at the last second, taking her place instead, and unfortunately gets injured. She panics and rushes him to the hospital. When the principal finds out, she loses her mind and calls Sona's mother, telling her what her daughter did and asking her to control the situation and, as usual, offering her money. The principal says, "I don't know. This time it's serious." Her mother replies, "What? Are you acting respectable now? You've taken plenty of money from me before and covered up worse things than this, so don't act like this is a big deal. Or do you want me to remind you?" Meanwhile, Dong goes to Sona and begs her to apologize to the hero and ask for his forgiveness, but she refuses and says she's afraid to face him. Then Sona meets her mother and tells her everything from the beginning, that she stole the flash drive, cheated on the exams, pushed him down the stairs, and that he's now in the hospital because of her. She says she'll confess everything and accept punishment, but her mother gets angry and says, "Are you crazy? All your grades will be ruined, all the effort and money I spent. I'll erase everything and pay bribes to get you back into school. Don't worry, I'll do anything." She feels even more guilty because she's just a puppet in her mother's hands, controlling everything, so she decides she has to disappear. When she opens her phone, she finds all her friends have turned against her, and no one wants to talk to her anymore. They call her a cheater and a bad person. She realizes she's lost everything, so she writes apology letters to Kim and the heroine, leaves them at their door, and walks away. On her way, she meets Dong, who asks what she's doing. She says, "I was going to apologize to Kim, but as usual, I'm a coward and can't face him." She asks Dong to go out with her, and he agrees. They go to the amusement park, and she enjoys the day and forgets about studying for once in her life. When the day ends, she thanks him and says, "I'm happy about the beautiful memories we made today. Finally, I can take something good with me." He's surprised and asks, "Take it where?" She says, "Don't think about it." Meanwhile, the heroine finds the letter at her door. When she reads it, she's shocked and starts crying. She shows it to Kim, and he also realizes Sona plans to disappear. They call Dong and ask if he knows where Sona is. He says, "She was with me 5 minutes ago and then disappeared." They all go out searching for her. At the same time, Sona starts thinking about everything, remembering all the memories, feeling deeply regretful. She sends her mother a message apologizing for not being the daughter she wanted and saying she's lost everything and has to disappear. Her mother panics and realizes what her daughter plans to do, so she goes out searching for her too. Everyone becomes frantic. Dong finally reaches her and finds her standing in the middle of the road. He runs and saves her before anything happens. She's taken to the hospital, where they discover she's suffering from depression. After everything that happened, her guilt grows even stronger. Despite all the harm she caused, her friends friends don't hesitate for a second to help and save her. She decides to leave and continue her education abroad. When her classmates find out, they're upset because they had already decided to forgive her, so they make videos asking her to leave the hospital and come back, saying, "Let's consider everything that happened a closed chapter and start a new page today." They all let her know they're waiting for her and have forgiven her. They keep this up for 2 weeks, but she still doesn't respond until the heroine sends her an emotional video with photos of them together when they were friends. When Sunny sees it, she finally realizes they truly love her and are ready to forgive her. So she confronts her mother for the first time and tells her she's decided to accept her punishment and return to school. She says she'll continue her education in Korea among her classmates because she's finally experienced what it feels like to be loved, to have friends who care about her. Her mother tries to stop her, saying, "No, get that out of your head. I'm your mother, and I know your future. The most important thing is for you to be successful." But she replies, "No, I want to be happy, not successful. I won't accept doing anything wrong anymore, and I won't let you control me like a puppet. I have my own personality, and I've made my decision, and I'll never go back on it." Then she picks up her bag. She returns to school, and when the heroine sees her, she's happy and immediately takes her to the club. She apologizes to her classmates, and they tell her they forgive her. They hug, and all become friends again, and her life finally starts to improve. At the same time, the relationship between the heroine and the hero develops, and he decides to walk her home every day. On the way, he sees his father with the heroine's father and jokes, "Come on, man, don't mess around. I'm not taking your daughter while you take mine," which embarrasses his father. When they get home, his father apologizes for hiding the truth and says he's liked Yoon's mother for a long time, but she refuses to be in a relationship. He tells him it's better to keep it as a distant relationship because he plans to propose to her daughter instead. Then he goes to the heroine's mother and honestly says, "Auntie, I like your daughter." The heroine also goes to his father and says, "Uncle, I like your son," and tells them to stop their secret games and leave things to them. Their families gather to talk, and Yoon's mother apologizes to the hero's father and tells him she's made her final decision. She can't be with him because her daughter's happiness is what matters most to her. At the same time, news reaches John's father that there will be an inspection at the school, and everyone who paid bribes will be exposed. So the next day, John's father goes to school and orders John to quit the cheer club. When John refuses, his father tells him bluntly, "This is advice, but you'll do it whether you like it or not," then throws him out of the office. John feels helpless and breaks down in tears. The heroine passes by, sees him, and tries to comfort him. He takes advantage of the moment and hugs her. Kai sees them from afar. Even though he's upset, he pretends not to care and goes to comfort John too. The next day at school, John decides to stay strong and continue in the cheer club, refusing to quit. But the principal calls him in and tells him his father threatened her. If he doesn't leave the club and focus on his studies, the punishment won't just affect him. It will affect his friends and might even shut down the whole school. Unfortunately, he's forced to give in for his friends' sake. He goes to apologize to them and says he's quitting the club to focus on his studies. Teacher Yu tries to stop him and tells him there are only 2 weeks left until the finals, and then they can rest. But he refuses and says he's already made his decision. The hero follows him and asks why he's quitting the cheer club. John dodges the question, saying he's busy and his grades aren't good, and he wants to study harder. The hero doesn't believe him and says, "How long are you going to hide from me that you also like Yoon? You avoided her and quit the club because of her? Just tell me." John takes advantage of the situation and says coldly, "So what? You already know what's going on. I stayed away because I know you like her too. There's no point in this triangle. Let me just be the third wheel." The hero gets angry at his coldness, and they fight. After that, John avoids him completely, but the hero can't handle it because he's his best friend. He goes to talk to him honestly and says, "I like Yoon, but you're my lifelong friend, and I can't lose you over a girl. I'm even ready to break up with her if it means you'll return to the club." John stops him and says, "I won't go back to the club no matter what. Don't try anymore," then leaves. Later, John gets a call from his father, asking if he quit the cheer club. He says yes, and tells him to keep his promise and leave his friends alone. His father replies, "Good job. Don't worry, your friends are safe." At the same time, Sona's mother hears there's a big problem coming at school because of the cheer club. She goes to warn the principal and asks her to shut it down. The principal says she'll think about it, but suddenly, a committee from the ministry arrives and forces her to shut down the club. She has no choice and posts an announcement at school saying the club is closed starting today. Teacher Yu is shocked and goes to talk to her, saying the students have been training for months for the competition and all their effort will be wasted. And the competition was their dream, and there are only 2 weeks left. She tries to beg her in every way, but the principal coldly says the matter is out of her hands and tells her to talk to the ministry instead. Teacher Yu loses hope of changing her mind and decides to leave the school since the club is closed. When John finds out, he's upset and goes to confront his father, saying, "Why did you do this and break your promise? Didn't we agree I'd leave the club and you'd leave my friends alone?" His father replies mockingly, "Are you stupid? You believed me? What do you want me to do now? Go find yourself a place to cry." John reaches his breaking point and says, "This time I won't stay silent. I'll expose everything you've done." His father tries to lock him in the house to stop him from talking. Meanwhile, the hero and heroine look for a way out and go to the place where the final competition will be held, but unfortunately discover that the school has already withdrawn their name. The security guard refuses to let them in. They lose hope of participating and feel all their effort has been wasted, but teacher Yu shows up at the last moment and uses her own way to register them in the competition again. The competition begins, and when the audience finds out they're from Sky School, they talk badly about them because of the school's scandals, but the hero doesn't care. He holds the heroine's hand, and the performance starts. Everyone shows their abilities and the hard work they put in over the past period, to the point that even those who mocked them before become impressed. They end up winning first place. As a result, the school restores the cheer club after John's father confesses to the corruption he committed, and Sona's mother confesses to the bribes she paid for her daughter. Each of them receives their punishment. The hero takes advantage of everything finally being okay and decides to take the next step. He officially confesses to the heroine and asks her to be with him, and of course, she agrees. And that's our story ends here. Please like and subscribe. See you in the next part. Goodbye. Our series begins with a girl who is at the pharmacy buying some things. When she leaves to go back home, she notices some guys walking behind her who look strange. What's worse is that their faces are covered. Our girl is carrying a